would be it. That would be the end of the series in favor of the first team to make it to 4, as it is a best of 7. Oh boy, let's go. As sporting in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, we have Quanta for Club Envy. And in the top left, we have his opponent, we have Hon Waifu for Hyperberg. I'm catching on the chat. HonMono was cosplaying Japanese schoolgirl yesterday on stream. Again? That is not the first time. HonMono, aka Hon Waifu, is an interesting guy. Recently, I think it was a week ago. I think it was around a week ago, maybe more than a week ago. HonMono did end up getting a Japanese schoolgirl cosplay outfit, and look, look, be careful what you tune into on Twitch, okay? Be careful of his stream. It isn't just that HonMono's been cosplaying as an anime girl, as an anime schoolgirl, but he even went as far as to get a voice filter. HonMono on stream, he has a voice filter to be a kawaii uwu anime girl as well. Will make your dreams come true. Check out HonMono's stream. He's an animal, pop. He's an animal. Sometimes he's HonMono, sometimes he's Hon Waifu. Oh no, not like this. I need to watch. You don't need to watch that. You know. Oh no. The internet has gone too far, Pop. He's gone too far. He's got a wig as well. You know, he wears a wig. He pulls it off quite nicely, that I will say. No? A solid Hon Waifu. Aye. Shaking my head. I think his team owner put him up to it. I think it's Hyper One's fault. I blame Hyper One, 100%. It is all Hyper One's fault. And yes, there's the link in the chat. Yes, twitch.tv/HonMono9 if you want to enjoy some anime waifu content. I'm shaking my head. Slander, yeah. Hyper One's fault, 100%. You allowed this to happen, Pop. You allowed this to happen. What have you done? Under your watch, what have you done to HonMono? Cute kawaii Japanese girl slay. Occasional breaking into dancing while doing 4X. Oh god. Anyway, you know what? I would not be surprised if HonMono is wearing that schoolgirl outfit right now. You know, just for luck. Just for luck. Plays his best. As for now, we're getting into our openers, getting into our builds. We do have Quanta moving out with his first 2 Reapers. Is going to be threatening the natural base. With the arrival of the Hellion, HonMono, he should be okay. Should be able to fend this off and preserve his SCV. As I say that, Quanta shoots first. Quanta does shoot first, does take down the SCV, gets the Reaper as well. Very good trades here by Quanta. Nice split as well, does avoid the splash damage. And he gets the Reaper. It's going to be close. He does get the Reaper in the end. Sorry, he does get the Hellion in the end. Very nicely done by Quanta. We'll pull back. Oh, has to respect the reinforcements by HonMono. HonMono bleeds out 2 of these SCVs, does delay the CC on the low ground. And now the momentum does swing in favor of HonMono. Does go for his own counterattack. And can he delay the bases here of Quanta? We're getting into marine productions. Looks like we will. But the command center does complete just in time. And Quanta has a nice little lead. Does have a nice lead for himself. He doesn't have control of the natural, unfortunately, but it is morphing into an orbital, and the tank has arrived. Quanta, he will force this back. He will defend his natural. Shuts down the Reaper, shuts down the Hellion. Good defense here by Quanta. Even following it up with a drop, as the medevac has arrived. HonMono, he doubled down on Reaper Hellion production, and so far it has not been worth it. Again, you wouldn't invest this hard unless you wanted to break into the mineral line and go for some SCVs. The drop is spotted at least. Is spotted. HonMono, he knows he's getting ready back at home. Whew. As we're getting into our 1-1-1 setup. HonMono investing into Vikings, not medevacs. Is heavily investing into those Vikings. Is in position for that drop. At the same time, gets into the mineral line, gets an SCV. Well, the medevac gets low. Oh, gets one shot away from going down. But it will survive. As the dust does settle, I do want to give the edge to Quanta here. He at least does preserve his units. Cleans up all the Reapers and Hellions. Does maintain a worker lead. So far, looking solid. But it is a slight advantage and a slight lead. Again, it's TVT, and a lot of this is still very positional based. You can have slight army supply leads, and the reality is that if you get caught out, if your opponent is the first to siege, if you are outpositioned, then it can all be for naught. Especially with the Viking advantage that MaidMonO has. A big part of TVT is air control. Again, tanks, they can shoot further than they can see. As a result, air control is a big part of that, of just extending that range, extending that vision. Bullying back the army. The medevac is repaired. We're going for a drop. As the drop moves out, MaidMonO is committing. But he's being caught out. The tanks, they do siege. They do siege in time. Remember, MaidMonO still has that Viking lead, but the drop does manage to get out across the map. And MaidMonO is in position. Do we have anything to defend? He's supply blocked! Oh, now is not the time. Vikings are on the way. We get into the mineral line. SCVs are going to go down. We get one, we get two. We get a third SCV, and can we get the tank? We do get a mass repair, and the tank, it barely does survive. At the same time, who sieges first? The Vikings land. The boys are being pulled. And Quanta, good target firing, does focus on the tanks. Bleeds out 4 workers, but he will hold. Does overextend with his Vikings, but regardless, he will hold on. And the drop has still not been cleaned up. Get another Marine. It looks like the medevac is going to be hunted down. But Quanta still up in workers. And on top of that, the third CC is on the way. It is almost done. A big lead here for Quanta. As he's finishing his third, MaidMonO's is just now starting. But it is on location. And on top of that, MaidMonO does have map control. So the goal here for MaidMonO is to delay the third base of Quanta for as long as he can, to contain Quanta as best as possible, as much as possible. He's moving out, going to be clashing with the main army. Who sieges first? Show us the fight! Up! The armies, they do clash, no one sieges. It looks like the Viking fights are barely in favor of Quanta, just barely. But we have reinforcements. And Quanta, he gets caught out, bleeds out a Viking. The tanks, they siege up on the high ground. Quanta forced back. MaidMonO maintaining his Viking control. His air control. Air superiority. Scan reveals that the orbital is already being landed on location. And MaidMonO's own third base is just now finishing as a regular command center. But again, these are still slight advantages. You can see that Quanta is only up 2 workers. The third base is going to give him quite a boost to his economy, though. That is a big power spike for him in that worker count. And the mules. As for the first time in a while, Quanta is pushing with his main army. I'm not so sure if I'm fond of this, because again, like, he does have the Viking deficit, so he can't win this fight. Yeah, Vikings going to be going down for Quanta. Big overextension. Like, again, we knew that we were down in Vikings, and we land on top of the tanks! MaidMonO, he catches out the tanks. 2 of them go down. A big catch here from MaidMonO. Very nicely done. And MaidMonO, that was a big win for him. 2 tanks, getting the Vikings as well. And he may just snowball out of control. 1 mistake too many for Quanta. And can MaidMonO be stopped? He's moving out with everything he has. Will never allow those Vikings to lift up. The boys, they're being pulled. They have to be. We land the Vikings. SCVs are just melting here, and it looks like MaidMonO is snowballing out of control. He cleans up the ground army. Shuts down 18 SCVs, the Vikings, and the tanks. And this is looking like the beginning of the end here, or at least the previous fight was. You can see how quickly things can swing in your favor. It was all on a knife's edge. We scan, we confirm that MaidMonO, he's on 3 bases. He's chasing down that third CC as well. MaidMonO, his tanks are a little bit exposed. We can maybe try to take advantage of that, but again, like, outside of a big mistake, MaidMonO, he has a massive lead and he's not going to let it go. Quanta does catch some of these Vikings, does land, takes down another. Nice catch here by Quanta. Aware that HomeMonO was split up. Getting another Viking. Not bad. Going for the tanks as well. Oh, but they are sieged. Yeah, we don't quite go for the land. Another tank from HomeMonO goes down. Nice little pickoffs here by Quanta. Still not enough to bounce back, but he's clawing his way back in. We can see Quanta making 5 Vikings at a time. Jesus. It's a lot of Vikings. And with that, he could try to shut this down. It's not going to be pretty, but we could try to spread out those Vikings and land on all these tanks. It's tempting. It is tempting. And he goes for it. There we go. Does go for the land. Takes down 3 of those tanks. Does take a couple of volleys to the face, but that was an efficient trade here by Quanta. Does shut HomeMonO down. And on top of that, Quanta, he saves a 3rd TC. Does save it. The downside is that HomeMonO, he's got a massive economic lead. He's already got his 3rd. Now he's got a 4th base up and running. He's up to 76 workers. He's up 30 SCVs. And even though HomeMonO did lose a bunch of tanks, he still has the army supply lead as well. It is still not enough for Quanta to bounce back. It was a nice catch, don't get me wrong. Like, it was good pickoffs. Good couple of moments for Quanta. Still not enough. We need more, is what I'm getting at. We do need more. And if he's able to drag HomeMonO out of position, if he's able to catch another portion of Vikings, maybe Quanta can pull this off. As it is mech versus mech. I said at the time, at the start of the series, that, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Quanta plays mech. I wasn't ready for HomeMonO to embrace the mech as well. Wasn't quite ready for that. But HomeMonO just taking it slow and steady. His 4th CC getting up and running. Looking to max out. Like, there's nothing pressuring HomeMonO, like, to move out right now. May as well just max out first, secure your win, secure your army, and then push. Otherwise, you might give Quanta an opportunity to recover. Cyclone gets a Viking. Trades for a Viking. Not ideal. HomeMonO is pushing in. He does have the Viking lead, or at least I assume so. 23 versus 25. Yeah, HomeMonO with a slight Viking lead is breaking through. Has Cyclones to support as well. And he should come out on top here in this fight. And tanks are going to be sieging. No, never mind. Quanta does force back the army. He holds. Gets dragged into the Widow Mine. And we can see HomeMonO just shell away at that 4th. Throws down the mule to repair. Tops up that tank. Again, Quanta with the defender's advantage. He was barely able to come out on top with his Vikings. But his 4th is denied. HomeMonO, he maintains his lead. It could be that Hon Waifu was related to Dragon. Oh no. Not like this. The memories have flooded back. We don't have to talk about Dragon. It's fine. He's not quite at that level. He's not that degenerate. You're not gonna see Hon Waifu like 69ing a chair, okay? He's not there yet. If he does though, it's Hyper One's fault. 100%. If that does happen, we know who to blame. As we do see Quanta at least holding onto his 4th base location, forces back the army. Big mine shot goes off on the Vikings. Not my fault. Copium. As HomeMonO is able to take a 5th. Able to get up on 5 bases. Is reinforcing, pushing up the ramp as well. He's got his Vikings stacked, and with that, he does take a more efficient fight. Yeah, and it's just a numbers game at this point. HomeMonO is snowballing out of control. GG gets called, and HomeMonO will take game number 1. Ooh. GG. with that Hyperberg Esports, Hyperberg, they are one game away from making it on into a Code S qualifying match. They are so close. They can taste it, baby. They can taste it. They're so close to that qualifying spot, to that qualifying match. And that series was pretty back and forth. That game was very back and forth. It was very close as well. We saw that things very quickly swung in MaidMonO's favor when Quanta overextended. Remember, he knew that he had the Viking deficit, but he moved out anyway. He moved out, I think it was like with 3 tanks. He moved out with 3 tanks, with like 4 Vikings, a handful of SCVs, and Quanta overextended on MaidMonO's side of the map, despite the fact that he was ahead in SCVs, ahead in economy. And Quanta, he threw that away. He overextended, he lost his Vikings, lost his tanks, and immediately MaidMonO counterattacked and punished Quanta for that push. Very well done. Again, you can see just how much on a knife's edge games can be on Golden Aura. The rush distance by ground is quite short. It's quite short. Doesn't take long at all to counterattack and to punish your opponent. With that, the pressure is now on Quanta. And what is our map of choice? Okay, part of me was thinking maybe post-youth, but no, we're going into Oceanborn. Very interesting. Another one of these older maps from the previous map pool. Oceanborn is the map of choice, and we'll see if Quanta can bounce back. If he can, we can force an ace match. Can fuck. Oh god. Oh no. MaidMonO. You're all animals, Papi. You're all animals. Calm down, Papi. Calm. The chat's getting rowdy. The chat's getting rowdy. Ay, ay, ay. MaidMonO, what have you done? Ugh. Oh, here we go. We're getting to game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Quanta for Club NV. And in the bottom right, we have a Team Hyperberg, MaidMonO. Here we go. The TVT does continue. The pressure is on again. If Quanta can win this game, we can force the ace match. Otherwise, it could all be over if MaidMonO takes the win here and now. DRG would be the favorite in the ace. He would be. What I should emphasize, if we do get to the ace match, is that the ace match is a best of 1. Anything can happen in a best of 1. Like, I would say that DRG would be the favorite player 100%, but it is no guarantee, and it's gonna get wild. It's gonna get wild, Papi. It's gonna get wild. Oh. But we're not quite there yet. We can see both our players opening up double gas. It's gonna be double gas openers, gonna be leading into a factory, into a racks followed by a factory, into delayed command centers. So very safe builds here from our players. This would shut down Proxy Reaper, for example, if either one went for Proxy 2x Reaper. It's just a safe way to play here. And of course, a little bit more aggressive as well, as you do get into your factory production. The first deviation here is that Quanta is going out with his SCV scouts. That technically means that, on the one hand, Quanta will have some scouting information. On the downside, Quanta will be taking a slight economic deficit, as MaidMonO keeps all of his workers mining. SCV comes in, we get eyes on the factory, we confirm there is no proxy, there is no cheese. We do confirm the opener as Quanta races back home, to make sure he doesn't get caught out by the Reaper. He is racing back home. Reapers are on the way, they've hit the field. Interesting, it's going to be Reaper into Reactor for MaidMonO. Once again, if you remember in game 1, MaidMonO did open up Reactor to Reaper Hellion, was quite aggressive with it. Wasn't too successful with his Reaper Hellion aggression, but we could see that again here from MaidMonO if he doesn't go for the add-on swap. Reaper dips in, gets eyes on the add-on, on the tech lab. Oh, but he gets caught out! Does get caught out. MaidMonO does shoot first. He's chasing down the Reaper, and he should shut it down. Big pick off there by MaidMonO. Does get the Reaper, and that is scary. That is one less Reaper to defend, and every unit counts here in the early game, as MaidMonO is once again going Reacted Reaper Hellion. A very aggressive style here, depending on how hard he commits and how many Reapers and Hellions he makes. Meanwhile, back at home, Quanta going for a Cyclone, a very safe way to open up. Much more defensive position here from the blue Terran. But again, he is down that Reaper. From here, we're going to be going for an add-on stop. Getting our CC on location. Reapers and Hellions are still amassing for MaidMonO, and he's pushing. With that add-on stop, we're going for a reactor Cyclone production. Okay. There's a good way to shut down this early aggression. Cyclones are a little bit more robust. They can, of course, chase this down. So do pick away at that Hellion. And again, we have another wave of units on the way from MaidMonO. They're still coming in. We go for the dive. We're going for the Cyclone. First Hellion goes down. We are not able to wall off, and the Cyclone is going to fall. But just in time, 2 more Cyclones pop out. And with this, Quanta should defend. It was a scary moment for him. Did lose a Cyclone, but he has 2 more to take its place. He's holding, going for a drop. Bold move. And the Reapers, they avoid the scout. They avoid the drop. And as Quanta moves out, MaidMonO, he's moving in. He goes straight for the main base. What is at home to defend? Cyclones are still in production. And SCVs are going down one after the other. Big damage here from MaidMonO. Ay, ay, ay. Again, Quanta missed the Reapers. 7 SCV goes down. 8 SCVs. 9. Soon to be 10. And maybe even 11. Oh, God. 11 workers full. MaidMonO takes a massive worker advantage. And Quanta, the pressure is on to counterattack. We gotta go. But we have a tank to defend. We have a bunker on the way. We have a tank in production as well. Second tank on the horizon. As long as we're able to defend against a counterattack, MaidMonO, he has a massive lead. He's in the driver's seat right now. We just have to survive. Quanta going for the double drop into the natural. The tank is in the main, so the natural is exposed. We can get some damage done here. Vikings, they zone back that medevac. We only get 1 SCV, not good enough. And things are looking quite a bit dire here for Quanta. Yeah, he's moving out with everything he has. He's going mass Cyclone Raven. So the way this works, I believe he has Disable. I believe. If he does have it, he can disable the tanks. If he disables the tanks, his Cyclones can snowball out of control. It's all about the Ravens. It's all about the disables. Likewise, MaidMonO, his job here is to zone away those Ravens with the Vikings. Here we go, as the Raven does take a couple of hits already. Good stuff for MaidMonO. Zoning back the army, being very proactive, actually. And the Ravens, they take a lot of hits. And Quanta is being forced back. He's being shut down. The Ravens are barely alive. And these Cyclones, yeah, they're not going to be good enough. Not anymore. MaidMonO, he knows he has the lead. Quanta at the same time going for a drop towards the main. MaidMonO, he's going for the third. Liberator goes down. Auto turrets are thrown down. Quanta desperately trying to hold on. Does shave off those Marines. We're down to 3 tanks. Cyclones, they get into the main. And we're getting SCVs. We get 7. We get 7. We're looking for more. Barely do not. The Ravens are targeted down one after the other. The tanks are snowballing out of control. No! The Cyclones go down. The drop does get targeted. And MaidMonO, he can focus across the map. He can focus on this third, pushing even into the natural. And Quanta, he's up against the wall. He's up against the ropes. We were talking about the potential ace match. But it looks like it may not happen. Quanta, he's holding, but he loses another 7 workers. And he just cannot afford that. He was already at an economic deficit. And alas, it will stay that way. At least Quanta has the third base. He has triple mules available. True. Let's have the mules. Quanta getting to mech once again. So is MaidMonO. It's going to be mech versus mech. And MaidMonO is pushing towards that third. He wants to at least. The Vikings are on a mission. Bobbing and weaving their way into the main. You know, the third base of MaidMonO has been spotted, has been scouted. Yeah, Vikings, they jump into the main base. They're getting some SCVs. Not too bad. Good kiting here from Quanta. But he will lose both of these Vikings. being cute with his micro here, but he's gonna get shut down. And here comes the counter harass from MaidMonO. You have a Viking in the natural, 4 Vikings in the main. Quanta, he's just trying to recover, he's just trying to make SCVs. That's all he wants. As we deny any kind of mining in the main, we focus down the tank as well. Big pick up. Tank does fall, but we will clean this up. As MaidMonO, he gets another SCV. And now we have 3 base versus 3 base. 3 orbitals as well, 3 with players. We can see that Quanta, he has dragged himself back into this, thanks to his harassment. I would still give the edge to MaidMonO, but Quanta, he's still in this game. He's looking to stabilize. He's looking to stabilize. Sensor Tower has completed. Once again, MaidMonO going for another Viking drop. Going for another Viking flyby. There is a Rax in position, though, to scout. MaidMonO is forced back. Whew, and we have a game. Okay. After a very tense back and forth early game here, we're calming things down. And we are going to be settling into 4 bases. Quanta, meanwhile, is pushing through the center. And he may be able to deny that 4th. Does have eyes on it. Does get eyes on the 4th CC. Tanks are getting in position. So is Quanta. But the tanks are sieged. MaidMonO does have the Viking lead. Ooh, he shuts down the Vikings one after the other. I'm getting deja vu. This has happened before. The Vikings go down, and now we can land on the tanks. As we chase down even more of these Vikings. MaidMonO maintaining his air control. Quanta does at least survive with his tanks. He does get away. But what was that? Like 6 Vikings just went down. 7 even. Brutal loss there for Quanta, and I don't know how he's gonna be able to gain map control, gain air control away from MaidMonO. Forced to pull back. Missile turrets are on the way. I mean, they have to be. Thankfully, Vikings don't shoot down. As MaidMonO, he's skirting around the edge. Can he make his way up the ramp? Does siege first. Does siege up. Tank volley is going to be going off. We do have the high ground for Quanta. And MaidMonO is running out of tanks. Down to 1. The Vikings, they will land. They go for the mineral line. And we annihilate a line of SCVs. 11, 12 workers going to be going down and counting. And even though the tanks may not have broken through, the Vikings did. 28 SCVs go down. Oh my god. We annihilate the mineral line. And from here, we can just keep on going. Again, it's going to be so difficult for Quanta to ever build up a Viking count comparable to what MaidMonO has. He's getting into Cyclones to help out. We're going for the orbitals. And once again, the Viking count is being reset. Take down 2 of them. And MaidMonO is chilling back at home. He's on 82 workers. Almost double the worker count. Almost double the supply. We've got 2 more CCs on the way, and yeah, MaidMonO just looking so comfortable here. And again, barring like an overextension and MaidMonO making a big mistake, he is poised to take this. Quanta up. Trying to get under them with his Cyclones, unable to. Still has a siege line at least. Has his tanks in position. We have offensive turrets being thrown down here on the front lines. MaidMonO containing his opponent to 3 bases. Not allowing him to expand. Not allowing him to break out. So even if we were somehow able to build up a Viking count, we have turrets to fall back to. Do have those turrets, Cyclones, that get shut down by the tanks. MaidMonO was in position. Did leave tanks at home. Quanta is getting into Thor production, which I do appreciate. I do like this. It's a good way to support your air army and to fight back against a higher Viking count. That is true. But the Thors have to get within range. Easier said than done. As you see MaidMonO just mass scanning, looking for a fourth. Speaking of, Quanta is trying to sink out that fourth base as an orbital. Is on the way. I believe MaidMonO didn't miss it. Did not see, doesn't know. He's in position to deny the linear fourth. At least the fourth on the right hand side, not towards the left. We'll see if Quanta can get this base up and running, then maybe he can max out. It's still going to be an uphill battle, but we'll have a chance. Thor gets a couple of hits in. Thor gets 2 shots off. The base is getting up. Quanta getting in position as well. MaidMonO just now about to check. But it's too late. Turrets are finishing. Quanta, he has a chance if he can maintain this base. MaidMonO, he's coming in with his army. You can see him rotating on the minimap. Ooh, does run into some tanks. Does run into them. Quanta, now he's going to be fighting only half the army. Thor putting in a lot of work as well. And Quanta, he chases back these Vikings. I think he may just barely win out on this fight as well. We need the Thor. Get in there, Papi. The Thor a little bit too far back. Oof. Yeah, he can't get close. The Thor goes down. And it looks like Quanta, he will come out ahead here in this Viking fight. And he can even land on top of the tanks. Quanta. We can do it, Papi. We can do it. Oh, but as I say that, we're getting into battle cruisers. I was wondering, but that's the reason why we fell behind in Vikings, because we're working towards BCs instead. MaidMonO rallying into his death. Bit of a miss rally there by MaidMonO. Has to be careful. Does have to be careful. We have a fusion core on the way for Quanta, but the reality is that MaidMonO is going to get into those BCs first. And battle cruisers, that is the late game of TVT. That is the ideal. That's what you want. Liberator has arrived. I mean, Quanta does have air control. Gets a tank. Quanta is fighting back. And because of all the Vikings, like Quanta, he does have an answer to these BCs. Like the BCs, they don't really get dominant until we're able to build up an insane amount of them. With like, you know, 8, 9, 10 battle cruisers, Yamato as well. It takes a while. It does take a while to really get that going. The ace match, the dream ace match, it's still there. It's still alive. Still a possibility. Oh, Liberator's within range of the turret. That is brutal. Tank goes down, but so does the Lib. Battle cruisers are moving out. Now, thankfully, because MaidMonO is moving out with the BCs, they will be able to teleport back home. We should not lose them. They should be safe. The BCs, they are going to be skirting around the edge. They do get spotted. They're spotted, but the Vikings are out of position. SCVs are going to go down. We get 4 workers, we Yamato some tanks, and we teleport the hell out of there. Good trade for MaidMonO. Efficient pickoff. Meanwhile, Quanta's getting into his own Yamato, getting into his own BCs. He's working towards it. Until then, 2 more battle cruisers on the right-hand side. Oh, MaidMonO, he has maxed out. Quanta, can we survive long enough to max out ourselves? We'll see. It's not going to be easy. MaidMonO, he just has a massive ground army alongside his Vikings. Tanks are pushing in. Yeah, the Vikings, they do clash. Big anti-armor missile. We do get the missile on the Vikings, but the BCs, they tank so many shots. Yeah, we have to kite back. We get 1 BC. We get 1, we can get the other as well. But Quanta is being forced further and further back. And MaidMonO, it looks like he has too much. He's breaking on through, getting on top of the third base. Quanta, he had almost recovered, or he had a road to victory there, but GG gets called. MaidMonO gets into his battle cruisers. He will take the series 2-0, and he will win it all for Team Hyperberg. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations to Hyperberg for advancing on into a qualifying match to make it into WTL Code S. GG, well played. My condolences to Club NV. It was a tense TVT between Quanta and MaidMonO. DRG, he put in the work. He was able to look dominant versus Jumi. MaidMonO did struggle against Special, and the reality is that Club NV were missing one of their key players, if not their strongest players. They were missing